Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on the Rise News. South Africa's Minister of Tourism, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, said between January and June of 2022, 15.2 million domestic trips were taken to South Africa. It's a major win for the tourism sector, as this is higher than pre-pandemic levels, indicating that South Africa's domestic tourism sector has rebounded. Joining us to talk about the roadshow to promote tourism to South Africa is Nomasonto Ndlovu, who is the Chief Operations Officer at South African Tourism. Thank you very much for joining us. Always like to talk tourism on the show around the African continent. So good to be talking about South Africa, which is the most industrialized economy on the continent. Can you tell us about the roadshow?
Thank you so much for having me. Lovely to be here, first time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm quite excited to be here.
Fantastic. All right.
Yes, you've said that South Africa's tourism is rebounding post-COVID. We are seeing the signs of coming back to the levels that were last seen pre-COVID. So we are excited that we are doing pretty well. But right now we are in West Africa to further promote travel between South Africa and the West African countries, but also to showcase what are the other new things that are there in South Africa, what else to do to really encourage more people from the continent to actually travel to South Africa.
Great stuff. What makes, I guess, South Africa the ideal destination for vacations and so on and so forth?
South Africa has got a very diverse offering when it comes to tourism. You can travel there for various purposes, whether you're coming for business conferences or whether you're coming for leisure in terms of family holidays. It's all possible. It's all there. But what is even more interesting is that we have a variety of lifestyle events that really draw the rest of the African market to come to South Africa, and that's gained quite a huge popularity. As we speak right now, we are gearing up for one of the biggest lifestyle events that is hosted in Johannesburg. This is called Delicious, which is really a showcase of music, culture, entertainment that happens in September in Johannesburg. So there's quite a lot to do, and it's not only just the traditional wildlife safari offerings, but there is a whole lot. I mean, we know that this market loves Cape Town, for example, but we want to say to the market that there's more to Cape Town to see. You can go all the way to Durban, Limpopo, Northwest, Sun City. There's quite a lot of stuff to do, but also there is a lot of shopping opportunities to also do, because some people just travel to South Africa to really enjoy the shopping diversity that we also have.
That's what makes it the most industrious economy on the African continent. I'm a big wildlife nerd, so I'm also guilty of the Cape Town thing, because I know there's a lot of great white sharks there. So that's also there, but there's more than Cape Town.
Absolutely.
Are you concerned about the current geopolitical tensions impacting, what's going on in Russia, Ukraine, and so on, impacting travel to South Africa?
What's been interesting is that even with whatever that is going on around the world, it hasn't taken away the focus from holiday makers who actually are sitting with this pent-up demand for travel. We've been on lockdown, we haven't been able to move, and everybody just wants to travel. So people are actually using travel as an opportunity to escape the difficulties of the world. Yeah. So that is why we've seen the domestic market itself even doing very, very well, but also intra-Africa travel doing very well as well. Guys coming from SADC to South Africa, guys coming from Central Africa, East Africa, West Africa, coming to South Africa. So the pent-up demand from COVID, people are still dealing with that. They want to hit that bucket list. They want to get out and deal with the stress that they got from COVID-19. So despite what's happening in the world, people want to travel, and South Africa is very well positioned at the moment to actually take on that demand and give the travelers what they would like to do.
All right. This next question is hard. This is hard because there's so much to do. I've already told you about, if I was going, I'd go to see the great white sharks. There's another friend of mine who's into bodybuilding, the Arnold South Africa bodybuilding tournament. It's the only one on the continent. I met a big music nerd. He talks about the jazz festivals in South Africa. So the difficult question for people visiting, what do you take away? With all that's going on, what would people take away from a trip to South Africa?
You see, my advice to people coming to South Africa is that have a lot of time in South Africa so that you don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
So that you don't do just one bit, the White Sharks, and then you don't do the rest.
Okay.
So have yourself enough time.
Yeah.
Plan your trip very well. We do assist in terms of our website, social media, in terms of what you can do. Because there is quite a lot. It also depends whether you're traveling solo.
Right.
I have children, so I'm always looking out for family kind of destinations.
Right.
I also like to do outdoor. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But I would say have more time so that you can do quite a lot. I know currently there's a lot of people that even currently from this market have indicated that they are coming for this delicious event I've spoken about. We've said to them, don't just come and do delicious. Do delicious for that weekend, but extend your stay, do more. Maybe you go up north to Limpopo, maybe you go down to the Drakensberg, maybe you do get to the coast, you know, from Durban, Eastern Cape, all the way to Cape Town. If you love wine, go and do a wine route. So it just depends on what you, as a family or as a person, you prefer to do. We would advise you to extend your stay, have more days, give yourself 2 weeks, and really do South Africa.
And okay, so what's the time frame? 2 weeks or 3 weeks? What's the appropriate time then? If you're saying give enough time,
I'll be happy if you give us 2 weeks. But if you have got 3 weeks, I'll take 3 weeks as well. Because there is no risk of you running out of stuff to do whilst in South Africa.
Gotcha. When is the best time of the year to visit?
South Africa is a destination where you can travel any time of the year. Today is spring day, so everyone is coming out of the cold winter, you know, beautiful bodies, beautiful smiles, and going out to a lot of events. So from now all the way to, let's say, Easter, April to May is the best time in terms of if you like summer, if you want to be in the beach, really enjoy, you know, the outdoors. There are people who like to travel during winter, you know, like especially if there's school holidays. I play golf. I love to travel during winter. It's beautiful to play. For safari, to go to places like the Kruger National Park, it's also beautiful to go during winter because that's when you can see the wildlife properly. So the sightings are brilliant during that time. So I would say we are an all year round destination. Just choose and pick depending on your availability.
Gotcha. I have another tough question to ask you, and it's
You're
a little
going tough on me
Yeah,
today.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, but you know, I guess this is handled by jurisdictions, but the diplomatic relations between the countries, South Africa and Nigeria, there's been a bit of a tough time in getting visas to South Africa. Yeah, and so, you know, how do you think that, I guess, diplomatically can be addressed? Because I mean, there's been some concerns that have been raised about that.
Yeah, the great thing is that between the two countries, there has been some agreements that have been signed between the two governments to actually promote other things, including tourism. So there's already a good base that says there's an understanding, there's a bilateral understanding that the two countries want to promote tourism to each other. So that is number one. But number two, we have, as a tourism body, we have understood and appreciated the challenges. And we have been engaging and lobbying, you know, the powers that be to say, look, we are having these challenges and this market really loves South Africa. So the greatest news as I sit here, as I'm here this week, is that our Home Affairs has since added more resources to this market. They've sent people 2 weeks ago, more people to help to process visas, so to deal with the backlog that we are aware of since the closure of the Lagos office. So that is number one that is happening as I speak to you right now. But even better, the e-visa system that we've spoken about before is now live and working and currently being used as of, you know, like 2 weeks ago, which is fantastic from a point of view that now you can book online. You don't have to travel to Abuja or travel to Lagos, and this is very good for Nigerian market. So you can do everything online and arrive in South Africa and get your visa in South Africa without the the complexity of having to travel around dropping off your documents. So I think there's a huge improvement, and it shows that there's an appreciation of there is a need to improve. And the government has put in the system to actually improve, because there is commitment to this market, that we understand the love that we get from this market in terms of the travel to South Africa, and we are committed to continuously look for solutions to make it easier. And I think the e-visas that is now live is a great improvement.
Nomasonto Ndlovu, thank you so much for joining us, Head of South African Tourism. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And I'm looking forward to having some pepper soup and
jollof rice. There you go.
Yeah.
That's going to do it.
Excited about that.
Thank you so much.